Have you ever stopped and wondered what it really takes to rebuild a city? Not just patch it up, but truly rebuild it from the ground up? Well, today we're taking a look at exactly that. We're going to break down the massive infrastructure plan for Gardner, Massachusetts, based on a deep dive conversation with Mayor Michael Nicholson. We're talking everything from the power grid to the schools. Let's get right into it.
And right there, the mayor lays it all out. This isn't just about filling a few potholes. We're talking about historic, foundational changes that are meant to set Gardner up for decades to come. So where does a project this huge even begin? Well, it starts where you can't even see it. It starts underground, with the very foundation of any modern city, its power grid. Because think about it, before you can build new apartments or open new businesses, you've got to have the juice to run them.
Right now, there are two major projects to get that power flowing. Over on Rear Main Street, they're already putting new conduit in the ground. That's the one that's moving along fastest. Meanwhile, in South Gardner, it's a bit more complicated. National Grid is still working on untangling that bird's nest of overhead wires before they can even think about digging.
And here's where you see the domino effect of all this work. Take the historic Garbo's building. It's a huge part of the downtown revitalization plan, but right now, its renovation is completely stalled. Why? It's literally waiting for more power. That new transformer on Rear Main Street, it's the key that unlocks this entire development. But why is one building so dependent on one piece of equipment?
Well, the answer is hiding inside the walls. The building is still running on something called knob and tube wiring. It's an ancient system that just can't handle the electricity needed for modern apartments or shops. So the bottom line is, without that new transformer and the upgraded grid, this landmark building stays stuck in the past, and so does a big piece of downtown's future.
Okay, so that's the invisible infrastructure. Now let's talk about the buildings that the people of Gardner see and touch and use every single day.
City Hall, for instance, is a classic building from the New Deal era, and it's getting some serious, much-needed attention. It all started after a gas leak in the boiler, and now a whole wave of repairs is happening. The elevator's done, the front steps are getting fixed, and the auditorium is getting new windows to save on energy. It's all about keeping that history alive while making it work for today.
And it's not just City Hall. The Greenwood Pool is getting a shade pavilion, which is great news for those hot summer days. The police station is getting a brand new kitchen for its community room, and get this, it's being installed by local students from Monty Tech, so that room can also serve as an emergency operations center. But the fire station? Now that's a whole different story.
So the fire station was built back in the 70s. It's too small, it's outdated, and it doesn't even have the right facilities for the city's female firefighters. Everyone agrees something needs to be done. But the very first step, just studying the problem, comes with a really big price tag.
$250,000. Yeah, that's the estimated cost just for what's called a feasibility study. It's a number that definitely makes you do a double take. So what on earth are taxpayers getting for all that money?
Here's the deal. A feasibility study isn't really a choice. It's required by state law. You can think of it like this. It's a super detailed engineering report to make absolutely sure that the final plan is the right solution. It's basically a system designed to prevent cities from accidentally wasting millions of taxpayer dollars on a construction project that doesn't actually work in the long run.
All right, let's shift gears from community buildings to another critical piece of the puzzle, the city schools, where there are also some major projects happening.
So here's a quick snapshot of the district. The new elementary school is already full to capacity, which, is a pretty good problem to have. And the high school is using some surplus money to upgrade things like locker rooms. But the really big ticket item right now, that's happening at the middle school.
And when we talk about the middle school roof, we're not just talking about laying down a few new shingles. Oh no. This is a massive, incredibly complicated project that involves complex HVAC systems and major structural work. And that, of course, brings us to another eye-popping number.
Almost $7 million. That's the estimated price tag for this one roof. For any city, that's a huge expense. But here's where the story gets really interesting.
So you're probably asking, where is all that money coming from? Well, because Gardner followed the state's process to the letter, the Massachusetts School Building Authority is footing 80% of the bill. It's a perfect example of the state and the city working together to make these enormous, necessary projects actually happen.
And these building investments aren't just for show. They directly support the district's core teaching strategy. It's called MTSS, and it's a pretty simple but powerful idea. Figure out what each individual kid needs to succeed, and then give them that support. It's a philosophy that, when combined with modern buildings, is really paying off academically.
So finally, let's zoom out. We've talked about power,
buildings, and schools. Let's look at how Gardner's preparing for its biggest long-term challenges and planning for growth.
You know, not every infrastructure project is as exciting as a brand new school. One of the most critical issues that Gardner is facing is what to do with its waste. And honestly, time is running out.
This timeline really puts it in perspective. The city has made the decision, based on state reports, that it will not be expanding the current sludge landfill. That means they have about 4 years to find a totally new solution and get it running before the current site is completely full. The clock is definitely ticking.
But the city isn't just reacting to crises. It's actively trying to shape its own future. Instead of letting old, empty school buildings just sit there, they're being sold to developers to create new housing. The old Waterford School is being turned into a community center. And there's a citywide plan to find and sell off surplus land to get new projects off the ground.
So when you add it all up, from the invisible wires underground to the new community hubs, it's pretty clear that Gardner is building a completely new foundation for itself. The real question isn't if the city is changing, it's which one of these huge projects will be the one that ends up defining Gardner for generations to come.